So let's get it going, y'all. So guys, y'all know how we get started. What happens? What comes after the prayer, y'all? What comes after the prayer, y'all? Let's get the bodies warmed up. Let's turn the cameras on. Let's get our bodies warmed up. I'm not seeing enough cameras on. I can see a lot of pretty pictures, not enough cameras on though. So let's start turning the cameras on and let's get going, y'all. What comes right now? I'm not seeing any fires in the chat. I'm not seeing it. Let's put some fires in the chat real quick, y'all. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. We on day 3, y'all. We on day 3, and y'all still here. Let's keep it going, y'all. Woo! Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Put some fires in the chat. There's no music again? Are you kidding me? You really gonna do me like that? I'm over here singing to myself? Dang. How y'all gonna do me like that? But I still like the fires in the chat, though. The fires in the chat was impressive. Y'all made me thought I was doing something. Nobody warned me and said, like, yo, dude, like, you're over there just sounding crazy. So now y'all hear how I really sound without the music, right? Y'all hear how I really sound without the music. This is what I probably sound like I was in the shower singing or something, right? Like, is that kind of how it came across? Would you hire me, Jeff? Would you hire me to sing at your wedding? Whenever you get remarried? Probably not, right? Anyway, the woo, that's the killer right there, right? I like it. So I'm not gonna try to fix the sound right now because I don't know why it did that. Matter of fact, I do know why it did that. Hold on, y'all, because we gotta get the sound. Come on. We gotta get the sound, y'all. So tell me real quick if you can hear it right now. Hold on. What about now?
Do the most, but I do a
what
lot.
about now? All right,
I'ma
so let's
make a
do it
toast,
now
'cause
then.
we still
So
alive.
now let's drop the fires in the
big,
chat. Let's go,
feel
let's
like
go,
pop.
let's go, let's go, let's
Shoot
go.
the shot.
Woo!
I'm coming in hot.
There we go. Now I see people dancing. Now I see people moving. There we go. Fires in the chat, y'all. It's day 3. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Financial Paradigm Bootcamp.
Yeah, coming in hot.
Hey.
Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker.
We had a practice.
Nice flow.
It was practice, y'all.
Just like the demeanor.
I'm gonna cut that out of the recording, yo. That's embarrassing. Me doing it by myself. I'm gonna just chop that out and just put this piece right here. Guys, it's another day. It's day 3, guys. It is day 3. I want to do kind of a roll call right now. If today is your first day, drop a 1 in the chat. Today's your first day, like, hey man, I was busy on day 1 and day 2. Drop a 1 in the chat. So we got some new people in the building right now. We got some new people. If you've made 2 out of the days, drop a 2 in the chat. If you've made at least 2 days, drop a 2 in the chat. Let me see my people. Where my people at? Where my people at? Now, if you've been here all 3 days, go crazy. Drop something in the chat, y'all. I feel like you need a beat for this too, y'all. Drop something in the chat. If you've been here all 3 days, drop some 3s in the chat. Oh man, thank you all for being here, y'all. Let's go.
Hey, nothing set in stone, set the ring.
We're gonna cool down. We're gonna cool down. See, I feel like I'm in the club. I'm back in my DJ days right now. Feel like I'm in the club. I'm turning up a little too much. But guys, if you've been here all 3 days, that's amazing. So take a round of applause for yourself because you have showed up, because there are things that you know that you need to know more about money. And so let me share my screen because we're gonna start off the same way we start off every single session. So we're gonna start by sharing you guys. Hold on. Here we go. I know you're not seeing my screen. Hold on. It's coming. I know. All right, so here it is, y'all. So Financial Paradigm Bootcamp, y'all. This is the mindset you need and the habits to make your first million. And so our mission here at Purpose Ways, our mission is to transform minds by influencing, motivating, and coaching aspiring and existing entrepreneurs while empowering them with tools to succeed. That is our mission. That's why we exist. We love giving you guys the tools to move from where you are to wherever you're trying to go. That's the reason why it's Purpose Ways. Any purpose that you have, we're going to help you get there, and we're the GPS to help you get there. And so y'all already know, please, you got to commit to this. I want your undivided attention. So whatever you got to do to lock in with me right now. I know it's Friday. You're probably on date night. You're probably doing something fun right now, or you could have been, but you're here with me. And I really, really, really appreciate that. And before we go any further, y'all, if you guys are loving like when we get started and my wife's prayers and all that stuff, put some fires in the chat from my wife, y'all, because none of this would be possible without her. So guys, help me thank my wife for opening us up every single session. Thank you so much, babe, for what you do. Love you so much. And I mean, where would I be right now without you? And so I appreciate you every single time for how you open and how you support and just, you're a true support and encourager and partner. So I really, really, really appreciate you. And guys, I want to shout out the rest of the team who are here right now too as well. So we got my COO, Marley. Marley, shout out to Marley. Shout out to Betsy that's here. Shout out to Jamie, who's not here right now, but shout out to the entire Purpose Ways team who's been really helping in many different ways. Say what?
Ignore, keep going.
Oh, okay. Somebody was ordering food. Guys, shout out to the team because the team has helped me put this entire thing together. And there's more people on the team, but if I went down the roster, like that would just take a long time. So I just want to acknowledge the team and just publicly say thanks for all of your support and everything that you've been doing to support, help us carry out our mission to be able to bless everyone that's on this Zoom and has been here for the past 3 days. So publicly, thank you all so much. And so, guys, let us jump in. What have we been learning so far? What have we been learning so far? So, guys, I want you, someone to raise your hands and come and share with me, because yesterday was spicy. So if you've been here at least one of the 2 days, I want you to raise your hand and share something that it was your key takeaway. Like you went home, you thought about it, and you're like, man, like now I'm gonna do this different. Who wants to share with me? Otherwise, I'm just gonna pick some people that I see right now to ask you questions. So my man, David, what's your key takeaway, bro?
What's up? How is everyone doing? So yesterday was insane. So Fiverr number, get money where you never knew you could get money, and then multiply that money with, well, I knew about that, but we're doing it now. So yeah, it was finding money where you can't find it, where you don't know exists, the tax credits. And Brendan was crazy. And then David was, there's like one guy was completely and totally left-brained, meaning David, just like, here's how you get there. And then there's Brendan, who's just creative and like, how do we just put this, make this go into there? So 2 different buckets, 2 different lines of thought. And yeah, it was very exciting. Like, you didn't know it existed, right? It's almost like sub 2. You didn't know sub 2 existed. And then you found out, you're like, oh my gosh. And then this is like the vault within sub 2.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was great. Really cool.
100%. What are you gonna be implementing like right away?
So I worked all day today, but Fiverr tomorrow. So I'm gonna get the Fiverr done, get my number done. Bertie and I are getting a spendthrift trust. Then we're going out of town. So we're gonna go on vacation. So I'm gonna be doing the 22nd, the first from Croatia. So I might have a little bit of a jet lag. But anyway, I'll be here. And then we get back, we're funding a life insurance, 2 different life insurance policies that we're going to start spinning, right? And we've known about this, like, you know about the vortex thing, as opposed to just so we're doing the spendthrift and vortexing it, and everything's going into the trust. I mean, everything, and pull everything out and throw it back in, and so I think once we get that credit and we get our corporate company business credit, it's just going to be funding. And we're going to, like, Bertie's got this crazy, you just need to hear what her like story is. It's so, she went like this, and it's
right
like a
now
total God story.
Right now you're frying people's minds. He's like, what is he talking about? When did we cover this? But this is the level of financial literacy and education and conversation that we should all be having, and it should be normal, right? Like, because these are strategies to be able to move money around and spend money 2, 3, 4 times. And so, David, thank you so much for sharing your takeaways, bro.
Absolutely, that was great.
And so let me just review day one. So let's start off for the people that weren't here. Day one, we started with talking about your financial paradigms. What are some of those habits and beliefs that we believe about money right now, right? And I went in and I showed you guys about the conscious and the subconscious mind and how that really affects everyone. But I think one of the biggest takeaways from day one was how you actually get programmed, and the self-image that, like, how does that self-image actually get formed, and why most people are stuck, right? It's because that self-image is formed when you're a kid, when you're a baby, and everything is poured right into the subconscious. Now, what's the role of the subconscious? It must accept, it cannot reject, and it doesn't know what's real and what's imagined, right? And so when you have, I like to say it's like the earth, where you plant something. So if you planted a flower, you got a flower. If you planted poison ivy, you get poison ivy. So whatever goes into your subconscious mind is what it's what your beliefs, it's what your paradigms, it's what the type of action you really take. Because your paradigm, it forms your logic, it forms your perception, and it affects your ability to make money. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are following me, if you remember about this financial paradigms. Super important that we're tracking and we remember where we're coming from, because it's all a journey, right? It's all a journey. And we also talked about, I shared a story where my wife and I, we had different beliefs about money. And it wasn't until the homework for that day, it wasn't until we understood our paradigms and our beliefs about money, then we were able to basically start having conversations to get on the same page. And so while I am an investor, my wife, she was freedom. Money meant freedom to her. And so she would spend money and I want to invest money, right? And so if it wasn't being invested, I'm like, what are you doing, right? And so we had that conflict until we started to understand. And so a big takeaway from that day also was, make sure any business partner, any relationship, anything that you're going through, you want to make sure the people that you're working with have very similar financial values and beliefs as you. Otherwise, your partnerships could be short-lived. Tracking with me so far? We all good? Day two was fun. Day 2 was exciting. The first day, we had to get into the being, right? it's life is set up as you be, you do, and you have. That's how life is set up. So the first day we started talking about the being, and that's where we kind of let it at. On day 2, we started talking about the doing. And so we started talking about the profit first model. So now you're putting these habits into play. When you start putting these habits into play, then you could now start keeping your money. And so David talked about a lot of business owners that's busy doing deals. You're trying to do a bunch of deals, but you're not keeping anything. Your expenses is higher than your income. And let me see if we have some new people in here. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. If you've ever felt like you work a lot and you don't really see the fruits of that work, drop a 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm talking to people who are tracking with me, or maybe this is a different crowd today, right? Like there's a lot of people in here who are doing the work, and you're working hard, super smart, super intelligent, but you're not seeing the profit. You're not seeing the outcomes that you really desire. And so David, he was able to show us and to help us with our keep number. He gave us a formula for that keep number. Who was able to get that keep number? Who did that homework? Who at least started the homework? I want to see, man. Like, wave at me. Let me go to gallery view. Somebody wave at me. So there's a few people who actually took what David gave and applied it. Now, that was not a lot of waves. I'm gonna tell you, I'm actually kind of embarrassed. Thank God David isn't here to say like, shoot, I gave these people my stuff and they didn't use it, right? But I know y'all intend to use it this weekend, right? Is that what it is? You intend to use it this weekend. It's been a busy day. I understand. I know my people are gonna use it this weekend. So I believe in you guys. This is where you have to start doing, y'all. Without putting the things that you learn into action, then you might as well not even be here. Like, you should probably just log out right now if you're not gonna apply a lot of the things that you're learning in here. It's absolutely imperative that you start doing. You gotta start doing. And so after David showed you guys how you keep money with the profit first way, and we talked about us working together and how that's gonna work and all that type of stuff, and us partnering, then we talked about the AI and now going to get funding. Who was excited about going to get funding with the click of a button, right? Like it's actually kind of scary and mind-blowing at the same time. It's like, whoa, is this real? And so we had some amazing questions in the on the other side, and to the people who were interested in joining the program and all of that. But the AI is able to go actually find you money, help you clean your credit, help you with the tax credits, help you with strategies, insurance strategies, and so much more, man. And this is just the day and age that we're in, and we're making it super simple and affordable for you guys to get it with the click of a finger. If you weren't here yesterday, then the recording is in the Purpose Ways community. Go get it over there, because you want to get it. You absolutely want to make sure that you tap into all 2 days. All 2 days. You want to make sure that it taps into all 2 days. This is absolutely tax deductible. This is education, homie. So yeah, guys, and now we're here at day 3. And so be, do, have. And a lot of investors, people that I've come across, they want to have everything without being and doing. And so you keep trying to have, and you're stuck, and do, and you're stuck. without being, you're not going to have. And if you have, it's going to be very short-lived. That's the reason why they talk about when someone wins the lottery. That's the reason why they lose the money so fast. They go broke or they go worse. It's because they went straight to having without being and ended up in a wreck. And what I'm saying here to you guys today is we're giving you guys the opportunity, the information, so that you could be, do, so that you could have. Who's following with me? Drop a yes in the chat. If you've learned something over the last 2 days, drop a yes in the chat real quick. And so I've had many people ask more questions even after the second Zoom about the program. And so we'll talk about that later again. But right now, yesterday, when we were on with Brandon, I said something to Brandon and I said, hey, bro, how about if we spend that money a third time? Because when he was explaining about the insurance or taking the money out of the insurance, using the money to go do a deal while it's being compounded. And I said, what if you put it on the right credit card? What if we took those expenses and we put it on the right credit card and then we started to use points? And you remember when he said, he's like, oh man, you're going on a different level. And that made me say, but I want to go there because that's what I'm doing. So why not show it to them? Why not introduce it to them? Because these were the levels that my wife and we went on. First, when we started, we weren't on the same page about personal. Then we got on the same page. Then we weren't on the same page about business. Then we hired David, got on the same page, and then we're moving on. And so now we're at another level where I made a call today and I said, bro, to one of my mentors, and I said, bro, how cool would it be to have you come on here and do something and provide value to this amazing community of people who are showing up for themselves because they want to be, they want to learn more. They want to take their businesses, their lives to another level. And he was like, dude, let me check to see if I could do it in 30 minutes. I'll call you back, let you know. And he's here. He agreed, guys. So do me a favor and put some fires in the chat for my mentor, Eli, that I'm about to bring up right now. Drop some fires in the chat for my mentor, guys, who's going to talk a lot about how you could do crazy things with your points and travel. Eli, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Keston? Man, you're bringing some energy tonight for a Friday. I freaking love it.
Dude, this is how we do, even if it's on a Sunday. This is just how we roll, bro.
I love it.
Dude, so we met not even a full year ago, right? And the value and the things and the hacks that you have helped me to see and know is crazy. So to the people that don't know you, just kind of give a quick talk about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my name's Eli Vicenda. I go by Eli, the travel guy online. And I got obsessed with travel basically about 10 years ago. And the quick story for me is that probably like many of you guys, you know, I was starting out, I didn't have a lot of resources, meaning money, connections, ideas, or whatever. And I had this ambition and desire to be like, I want to experience freedom. I want to travel. I want to travel the world. But the idea of waiting until I was like 65 years old and I had money saved up in the bank and I did the traditional model of make money, you know, put it away, save it, invest it, and let it compound. And eventually I can enjoy my life in 50 years. It just didn't sit well with me. And I found a strategy after doing a lot of research of different ways. I was just kind of getting creative. Like, how can I get the life that I want in my 20s instead of waiting like 40 years? And I found out about this thing called travel hacking, which is ultimately using credit cards and using points effectively to get really good travel. So I dove down the rabbit hole, went nuts on it. There was no intention of it becoming a business, a brand, anything like that. But I got so hooked and so passionate and just started traveling all over the world on these strategies that people started asking me what to do. So now I have a team here. We have a 15-person team where we're teaching all sorts of entrepreneurs, investors, and really just individuals who have that same ambition to really live life today, to fully come alive, to enjoy these amazing experiences that we have the opportunity to do, and to help them do it in a way where they can pay either almost basically 0 or maybe 5% of what the trips would normally cost. So that's a little about me and what we do. I live here in Austin, Texas. And when I met Keston, I was like, this guy is not only very intelligent and sharp with his knowledge and acumen, but also just a really solid, good integrity guy. And that's the kind of people that I want to align with when it comes to doing business, having relationships. So I think everyone on this call here recognizes that in him. And that's why you're here on a Friday instead of out doing other things that you could be. So Keston, thanks for having me on, and appreciate everyone else showing up on a Friday to invest their time as well.
Man, amazing, bro. So, all right. So somebody's on here right now. They want to start doing at least one more trip a year. It's like, dude, help me do one trip. What are some basics that somebody could actually start implementing right now?
Absolutely. So a couple of key things are going to be, you want to understand, first off, this prerequisite is that you understand a little bit about how your credit score works. Okay. You don't pass go until we know that, and we can cover more foundations on that, but you should know what are the pros, cons, and risks of doing this. And the risks are very, very minimal if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing and you start opening up credit cards, then obviously that's not very knowledgeable behavior. So I wouldn't condone that. But
so let me pause you right there. Pause you right there. I want you guys to really soak in what he just said. This is the reason why, like, he is on today, right? Like, he's the last piece to all of this, because if you don't have the habits and the discipline and know how you're spending your money, this isn't for you. This is not for you. So if you have not implemented a lot of the things that we've said in the last 2 days, I will not advise this for you to do this. You will crash and burn 100%. And so I just want to kind of stick a pin there to insert that, because there's levels to this, guys. Everything has been a level. Every day we've been going on a higher level. And this is all about like being intelligent with money, right? So continue, my man.
Yeah. So assuming we've got that down, we feel responsible, we understand what we're doing in this game of credit and how to play the points game, a whole world of opportunity will open up for you as soon as you understand this stuff. It's really crazy. We're really the top country in the world when it comes to having these opportunities. Most countries do not get the same stuff as us here in the US. So just the fact of being born in the US or having US citizenship opens up so many opportunities. But the key here for just one more trip, what are some quick things? You want to understand the difference between getting points and getting cash back, and the different types of points that you can get, because not all points are equal. These are almost like currencies. Okay. And so a lot of us are going to go out and we're looking for a 2% cash back card or a 3% cash back card. And while those can be okay in some cases, if you get the right card with specifically what we'll call bank points that can transfer, right? There's a couple of specific banks, and you use those well, you're going to get 3 to 4 to 5 times the value that you would if you were using a cash back card. And that's going to allow you to take, several $1,000 trips, whether it's domestic or international, just from switching the card you use on the money you're already spending. And that's the key, right, Keston? It's like, you don't want to go out and just start buying stuff to buy it to do this. This is your groceries, your phone bill, your subscriptions. If you run a business, your business expenses. You don't have to change anything. Just be more strategic with the card you're using, and you leverage that to get the right points. And when you use those, you're going to get way more travel. And so it's a game that's amazing, because there's really not that much you have to do. You just have to be a little smarter and work smarter and not as hard.
Man, and I want you guys to listen to these words. You just have to be a little smarter. And this is the foundation, because when you start to know now, so let's go back to day 2, where you're categorizing all of your expenses and all those things. And now you know what you're spending money on. And then now you could take this information and say, okay, I'm spending money on these things. What cards should I put it on? And that's literally the game. And so, bro, since we've met, and I'm gonna show you guys something that's pretty incredible, right? So since we've met, like I said, and I don't know if you guys think I lie about this, but I literally we have mentors for everything, for everything. Like, legit, I got a mentor for points. Like, that's how that's how detailed I am. Why? Because I want to live a certain lifestyle. I don't want to wait till I'm 60. Guys, this has started for me 3 years ago. Now we have over $10 million in real estate. We've crossed our first million in revenue, pushing things like 3 years. Why? Mentors. They're able to help you get there very fast. And now we're investing and buying businesses and all these different things. Why? Mentors. So here's what Eli did for us, because I'm like, dude, I got an anniversary. And so here's a quick story, guys. Every year, my wife and I, before we got married, this was one of the deal makers or breakers. I'm like, babe, we got to do this. No, I'm joking. So every year, my wife and I, we travel for our anniversary. So we want to travel around the world and put on the same clothes that we got married in those different countries. And so far we've been to Italy, we've been to Morocco, we've been to Costa Rica, and we've only been married 5 years, y'all, right? So, but we've traveled. We're pretty good traveled, right? And so doing something like this, I'm like, man, this is right in alignment. I have no idea where I'm going for my anniversary, but if you could help me kind of strategically get to somewhere really sexy and cool, and travel first class, I'm like, I want to travel luxury. Could you help me? And that was it. He's like, absolutely. Right. And so he asked me about how I spend money and where I was at. And he was like, oh, dude, you're a perfect fit. The reason why was because I had already done the work, y'all. I had already done the work and laid the foundation. And so let's talk about this trip and kind of like some of the things that you've kind of got us, bro. People on your team, right? So guys, so our anniversary is August 31st. And so in August 31st, my wife and I decided to go to Africa, right? We decided to go to Africa. And so working with someone on his team, she said, okay, this is what you could do. This is what you should do. And so what I want to show you guys real quick is how much savings, and I want you to break this down, Eli, because I don't think people really understand the savings piece of it. So I'm going to share my screen and I want you to talk about the savings that we're able to have on both the incoming, the going and coming flight, because it gets turned up. So let me share my screen, bro. You guys should get excited about this because, man, I'm stoked.
I'll share one thing, Keston, while you're pulling this up.
Yeah.
Guys, one of the beauties about this whole credit card points thing too is the tax implications. So if you do have a business and you're investing, you're spending money through that, you're going to generate points as a business owner. You also generate points individually. All of those are getting pooled to you as an individual. They don't go to the business, they go to you. And you can use points that are generated from business expenses to take personal trips, right? So normally, if you're a business owner, you might take a withdrawal or distribution or whatever that's after tax money for your trip. But if you use points, you don't have to take that money out of the business, which means you don't have to pay tax on it. And so you can use these points for personal trips, and then you can have these amazing vacations and experiences that would normally be after tax money. So you get to save on that too. That's a really cool piece of it as well.
Dude, that's like, a lot of people didn't catch what you just said, but man, that's like, that's a lot of savings, y'all. A whole lot of saving, and it's extra money. It's money that you're getting back on things that you would have spent anyway. So take a look, y'all, at where we're going. So we're going to Johannesburg and also to Mauritius. You can see my screen. So yep. Eli, what are we looking at here?
So first off, you're flying on Emirates business class, which is really cool because you can see the luxury lay flat seats, the pods, the great experience, the champagne. You get the lounge before you go. And this flight actually has a bar on board in the back too. So they're serving up Dom Perignon, all sorts of amazing food, like 3-course meals, it's an awesome experience. So one of the beauties is that your vacation starts the minute you get to the airport, because you get to go right to a lounge and start that experience rather than when you get to the destination. And you'll get to sleep and be rested. So as you'll see here, right? So this flight is normally going to cost $9,901, which is pretty damn expensive. Now, if you were going to go do, some of you guys have points and you may be familiar with using your Amex points through Amex Travel or something like that. If you were going to do that, this would cost you 990,000 points. Okay. With the strategies that we were able to do, we were able to help get this for Keston for 302,500. So basically almost about a third of the amount of points that he would have had to pay. We were able to find this flight. So it means he could get 3 of these trips for the normal price of 1, simply by being a little smarter with how he's using the points. And like he said, he's already spending money in his business. He's spending money personally. So he's able to generate these off of expenses that he was already purchasing. So it's like he generated these points off of normal purchases, used them a little smarter, and now he's getting potentially 3 trips to Africa if he wanted to in a lay flat bed like that, and able to enjoy this amazing experience with his wife and have this incredible memory, simply just by being a little smarter with how he's spending money and how he's using his points.
Wow, guys, did I already make my money back or not? Right? Like whatever the investment is. And this is only the first flight. Let's go to the second flight. So this is the flight home. What did I save here?
Yeah. So on this one, you're looking at, again, similar type deal. This would be $12,115 total, which would normally cost 1.2 million points. But with the same strategies, we were able to help get it for just 302,000. So again, basically, this is for 1/4 of the amount of points. He's getting this for essentially 1/4 of the normal cost, which is crazy for something that's $12,000. And one of the other beauties of this too, Keston, that you'll experience, I'm sure you have before, but when you start traveling like this, you go to the lounges, you're on the business class flight, like it levels up where you think you are at and where you need to be in terms of your lifestyle, your finances, the people that you're around, the kind of network you're exposed to. So your mindset will start to shift too, around like who you are, how you identify with the kinds of things that are in your life that become normal. And so that's the beauty of this kind of stuff as well. Beyond just the savings is like the shift in your level of kind of wealth being, you can almost call it.
Dude, that's like this blew my mind. And it blew my mind when you shared it. But now that I'm living it, I'm like, bro, really? Like, who would love to take a first class, business class flight to no extra cost because you're living your life, because you're doing your business, because you're already doing the things that you're already doing, right? Like, and how? Knowledge, just knowing the right person, getting connected and saying, dude, how could I do that? But I couldn't do this 3 years ago, guys. I want you guys to get this. You gotta be, do, have. Because I worked on me internally and got the mindset right, and I'm like, okay, this is who I want to be. I had this vision of who my wife and I, who we wanted to be. Then you do. So we started to get things in order. We started to lay the foundation, do everything that's necessary. And now we could have these types of flights. Now we could live the types of life that we want to live. And so we're traveling on a 23-hour flight in the comfort that we desire now, with everything to our disposal. And why? Because I met someone who knew more than me, that helped me, elevated me. Because Eli, someone who doesn't, what's the right word? Track their expenses or know how much they're spending and all of that. Tell us who's not a good fit. You kind of touched on it, but I want to be more specific.
Yeah. So someone, number one, there's kind of like a self-trust factor in this, right? As you apply and you get approved for more credit cards and you figure out the system, you'll have disposal to be able to get a lot of credit line. And so you've got to be able to trust yourself to know if you're in integrity with what you said you were going to do with your finances and that you're tracking it too, like you said. So that would be number one, is the kind of person that's not going to just start overspending or treat this like it's not their money, right? They're going to have responsibility. That's the biggest thing. Number two is a person who's willing to actually, in my opinion, kind of see life as as an adventure, see life as opportunity. Because when Keston and I first connected, there's a lot of people who have that conversation and they think it's too good to be true, and they don't want to actually look at it. Now, you still did your due diligence. You asked a lot of great questions when we conversed, and you were like, wow, this is really legit. But a lot of people will write it off the bat because they don't have that sense of seeing opportunity and seeing that, hey, there's possibilities out there that could really, make things happen for me. So someone that's open-minded, wants to create adventure, wants to level up their life, that's for you. If you're someone who doesn't really care about those things, then, there's no reason for you to get in that game, right? But I think if you're on this call here tonight, you clearly want to make some changes with your life, with your lifestyle, create opportunities, and ultimately have experiences with people that you care about, that you get to look back on in 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road and be like, wow, we really got to do some cool stuff. And so that's a little about the kind of people that we like and the people that we want to be around and the people that we want to support with these awesome strategies.
So, and this is one strategy, right? Like, there is the option of taking your money out and doing something different with it. So you could go pay bills, or you could literally take the money because it converts. It doesn't give you as much. So talk a little bit about the other side of things.
Sure. You can think of points just like any other kind of asset, which means it has a value and there's different ways you could use it. But basically what that means is, if you had, 1 million credit card points, let's say, you could go to Amazon and cash them out and you're going to get $6,000. You could go to Amex Travel and use them and you'll get $10,000. But with the strategy is the way that we're just helping Keston with, 1 million points in the case that we just helped him is worth 30,000, right? So the same exact resource, just how you use it creates different value on it. And that's the kind of idea of like arbitrage. You can see it in Airbnb and real estate and all these things where there's an opportunity to create more value. And so the important thing is to recognize when you're getting a good deal or not, and being able to determine if or not it's a good deal. It's no different than buying a home, buying a car, making any of these other financial decisions. You first need to know, is this a good deal or am I getting screwed here? And so once you have that understanding, then you just want to look to optimize for the best possible deals. And that's what we helped you do in this case, and did the heavy lifting for you. But the same principle applies whether you're doing this on your own and you learn how to do it, or you get help from someone else.
Man, it's so amazing because I see you like my point CPA, right? Like that's legit how I see you, where I'm like, I know this stuff, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to study it. I don't want to keep up on it because when my wife and I met 5 years ago, I used to have a little bit of points, right? I used to kind of play with points a little bit. So I had like some basic knowledge on it, but it was a lot of work, the churning. And I'm just like, man, this is a lot of work. And so basically what Eli and his team does, it sounds like if you wanted to do this for yourself, for me, I'm like, that's me trying to be my own CPA. And there's a lot of people that do your own taxes. Kudos to you. I run a business. My life is a business and I treat it as such. So I'm like, let me hire a CPA. Let me get someone who is able to help me and help me with strategy. And so like how cool is it where I'm like, hey, here's where we're going. Tell me how to get there. And this is how I want to travel. Like that's legit the phone call that I made and had it hooked up. And so now we're living a different type of lifestyle. And I'm sorry to keep harping on this because we put in the work. Today is about the glitter and the glamour, guys. This is glitterous. This is very glitterous, very glamorous, but it could also save you and help you get to that next level. So think about all these people that you see living or traveling and in first class and doing all these things, and they're traveling for free. You think they're paying like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but they're really not. The only thing they did was they worked on themselves, they tracked their money, and they live a different lifestyle. Would that be worth it to you? Let me see in the chat, because y'all real quiet. Like, who actually wants to take a nice trip? Or is that not a goal of yours? Like I don't know. Y'all not giving me feedback. nobody's leaving, so I know you guys are here, but I'm not seeing you guys like, so I want you guys to come up and ask questions. Previously, I didn't really open it up, but I want to open it up for you guys to ask some questions because we also got an announcement to make as well. We got an announcement to make, which is pretty cool. Guys, my goal, and I told you guys, like, my goal is to build one of the dopest mindset companies in the world. Like I'm legit going after Tony Robbins, legit. And this is one of these things where if you don't know how to manage your wealth, it starts with mindset. It all starts with mindset. And so I need people like my partners here, Eli, to do business with. Now I seen you raise your hand and you dropped it back down. Talk to me. What you got, girl?
This just blows my mind. And I thank you so much for, I mean, I've heard about this because I travel a lot and I go to Ghana a lot. One of my dreams, I think as some people have heard it before, to travel all the 54 countries in Africa. I'm from Ghana. Yes, that's one of my dreams. So this is just right up my alley. And like Keston said, we see all those first class and business class people and we're like, ooh, they're paying lots of money, but now I know. So sign me up.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, most of them are paying a lot of money and they don't have to be, but most people don't know this stuff.
That's true.
Thousands of people about this. Only like 3% of the people I talk to actually know even what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
You're getting some info that's like even the wealthy people oftentimes don't know how to use these points well, and they're going to overpay for things. So
there's so many Africans in this country who travel and our flight bills are so high. So definitely, I mean, aside from this group, definitely I have tons of friends who will be very interested in knowing more about this because I'm traveling in October. Is there any way that I can get a deal? I mean,
do you have the foundation laid is the question that we're gonna ask, and that's where it's at. Do you have the foundation laid? Because it's only with the foundation could you plug into something like this, right?
No, not yet. So I'll get there.
You will. You absolutely will.
And thank you, Keston. Thank you so much. You bring so much value to us. Thank you.
Absolutely. I gotta challenge y'all paradigms, man. That's my goal. That's my goal. I wanna go ahead.
Can I share one thing just real quick? I saw in the chat from something.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to just say is I think it was maybe Pedro or someone mentioned he wanted to go and travel and meet cool people like Kes. So that is one of the big views. We're talking about the luxury stuff, but I also just want to paint a different picture of what's possible for some of you, because maybe right now flying first class, going over through on Emirates isn't like that big of a priority. You're thinking, how else can I use this to level up my mindset, to make better connections, to go to events and seminars? When I first started doing this, I did a few cool trips. But one of the biggest things I used this for was I wanted to go to like personal development events. I wanted to be in the right rooms because I knew that I needed to change who I was around. And I wanted to get in person, in proximity to people. And one of the big holdups for me was like, man, the flight to LA from DC is expensive. The hotels for 4 nights, like I can't afford that. So I actually started using my stuff. I was flying, middle seat economy because I was just getting more trips out of it. And I was staying in 3-star hotels because it was like, that was the best way for me to be around the right environments. And then eventually, sure, I started doing more of the luxury stuff, but it doesn't have to be just about flying first class. You can do that, but you can also, go to different seminars and events. That's how we connected. And that's how a lot of these amazing relationships in my life were formed, was going to these events where other people that I wanted to be around were at. And I was able to make those decisions easier because I had the ability to say, hey, flight doesn't matter, hotel doesn't matter, even some of the meals. So just something to mention for you guys too, a different possibility for you to think about.
So true. So true. Thanks for bringing that up, man, because the truth is we could probably do this flight like 5 times if we flew in coach, right? Like it would be a lot cheaper. We could probably go to 10 places, right? Versus what we're using. But we're at that place where this is the life we desire. This is where we're at now. We put it into work. Adriana. What's up, girl?
Hi,
Hey, hey.
thank you so much for this. And Eli, this is just really timely. I had we done all of the stuff way in the back, and we'd be a whole lot more ahead of the game. But I was able to be and do the things a couple of years ago before I left my W-2 to get me to for us to live off of one income. So one of the things that I was doing was actually I have the cards and so forth. And before we didn't trust ourselves, but now I'm like really good about it. And so one of the things was like, I'm getting these things like, oh, we have like cash back or we have points or whatever. And I literally was like, before this even happened, I was like, I don't know which one would be the best one. So I didn't make any decision yet. And that's what I'm saying. This is so timely because now I'm able to utilize your information so much more. And the fact that you're down the street from me in Austin, because I'm in San Antonio, it's far enough for me not to be a creeper and stalking a human being.
Come on up to Austin. It's all good.
Because I would go. I mean, all the proximity thing, a drive is nothing.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, Adriana, you're smart in that you saved your points for something in the future, and even the cash back stuff. You know, knowing, hey, I'm not sure how to do this, I should hold on to them. It's a smart move. A lot of times people have this tendency, and Keston, you're the master of this, but we have this tendency just because like we have something, we're like, we got to spend it. Right. And it's a lot of times money comes in. It's like, I don't want to hold on to that. So let me just get rid of it. And the same thing happens with points. Sometimes people are like, I got like 500,000 points. Let me just cash them out. It's like, you could have used them for 10 times more in 6 months from now, had you thought about it and been a little bit more long-term oriented. So the fact that you've held on to these and you're thinking about how can I get a better deal? Great thinking, because you'll be able to do a lot more with it now that you have more that you didn't just like spend right away.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Totally.
Amazing. Guys, did you find this valuable? Like, I know some of you guys are probably still stunned. Maybe we should have talked about the coach or something like that. But do you find this valuable? This is what's possible. This is what's possible. Well, somebody just asked a pretty cool question. Could you pay your mortgage with your credit card? Now you're getting to another level. That's like another level. The answer is yes, but that's like another level. You look like you wanted to answer, bro. So go ahead.
Yeah. These kinds of questions get me excited because you can get so creative with how you create your lifestyle and making decisions about this kind of stuff. So technically you can really put pretty much anything on a credit card, guys. That the key is going to be when's worth it or not, right? If you're going to pay a fee for something, you have to make sure your return is worth the fee. It's just like an investment. You're essentially investing 3%. So you better know if you're going to put that on a credit card that you earn enough points and you can use them well enough where you better get more than 3% back, right? So that's kind of the thought process that you should use, because rather than saying yes or no, it's better to kind of think about the strategy of like, how do I want to think about spending on this? And is it something I'm going to get a positive return on? So that's
hold on. Let's see, Gabby, that's a mindset thing. The first thing she said is, I don't want to pay the fees, and she's out. That's like saying, I don't want to pay a hard money lender his fee because, and I'm still going to make a flip and make money. So fees isn't that bad. Let's get it together here, guys. If the investment makes sense. So continue, Eli.
Yeah, that is the foundation of it. And Karina, you mentioned Plastique. Well done. That's one of the tools you can use online that will help you do that. But you do want to know what you're doing, because a lot of people will go out there, start to rack things up on Plastique, and they're paying a 3% fee, but because they don't have the right cards, they don't know how to use points well, they're getting 1% back. So they lose 2%. So there's no point in putting your mortgage on a credit card if you're paying 2% extra. That makes no sense, right? So having the right strategies on using that and making sure you're getting the right benefits is going to be important too.
You know, one of the things that I learned from you, bro, that it was so simple, but it was like, oh my God, I never knew that. How do you evaluate your points? how do you kind of work out like your points and stuff like that?
So yeah, so there's a couple of different ways. So I kind of have a general understanding of what each point is supposed to be worth, right? And then I have a good way to keep things organized so I can tell kind of like how much the value is. And there's different apps and tools out there. One's called like a Ward Wallet, which will keep all your points in one place. There's another one called TripIt. But when I know, okay, this point is worth generally 2 cents each, I just do the math real quick and I can say, okay, if something costs me, $10,000 for an awesome flight, and it's going to cost me 500,000 points, I know that I got 2 cents per point. But if there's a way to get it for 100,000 points, I just got 10x the value. So I'm like running those numbers in my head to see where's the best opportunity to use these. And similar to what I mentioned with Adriana is like, I'm also looking at kind of like the future value of them. So it's like, do I use them today to save $500? Or if I know I'm going overseas in a year, I could probably save the same points and get like $3,000 out of the same points. So I want to be thinking about when's the best time to use them, not what's the first use case for them.
Amazing. Amazing, man. Guys, do you guys have any more questions? I want to make sure that you guys are getting the most value. We're at the end of the 3 days. And so Daniel got a question. My man, what you got, bro?
Actually, it's more of a comment, not necessarily a question. I was a little late to the party on this. I've been trying to catch these. I'm hoping there's a replay that's going to come out sometime that I'm not going to have to pay for, but hey, it is what it is. So I just got into this mindset of I put everything on a credit card. I went to the bank today to set up my my business bank account, and they said, hey, I applied for my business credit card. They're like, hey, we're going to give you a debit card. And I'm like, for what? I'm like, I swipe a card for everything because I get those points. So long as you pay the balance off at the end of every month, like you're good. They're basically paying you to use their money. And like you said, it's all about the mindset thing. And I love your mindset company that you want to build. I feel like God's put it on my heart right now. Me and my wife just finished a Coaching for Christ-like coaching program. So we're helping my beautiful wife right here. We just finished this program, and they always say pick a niche in your business, and I feel like my niche, I want to cater to the top 1% of business owners, the people that seemingly have it all, but they know that there's something missing. And that's the people that I want to reach out to, because they have a much wider reach than they even give themselves credit for. And when their mindset can shift, and God can use me to help change their minds about what they do in life, like the ripple effect is just, it's unbelievable. It's just a way that you look at things. It's crazy. Like I'm so sorry that I keep missing your Tuesday Zooms. I had no idea. I just now realized that, oftentimes the good things in life will get in the way of the great things. And I'm usually at a men's ministry meeting on Tuesday mornings, and it finishes right in time before, to jump into this, but I always stay for a little bit of fellowship. Yeah. But yeah, your mindset calls on Tuesdays are absolutely amazing. And I just thank you so much for everything you do. And, I want to get to know you a lot. And yeah, thank you.
Dude, I want to get to know you because you're saying a lot of amazing things that, my team and I, we were literally saying earlier that we need to start bringing on more coaches and stuff like that. It sounds like we have very similar values. So I'd absolutely love to connect and see how we could work together. Maybe you could be a part of the team to help me spread this word and expand this mission, bro. So that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you did want the recording, it's in the Purpose Waze community. I'm going to put the Facebook link in the chat. Okay. If you're not a part of the Facebook community, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Right. So, yeah, man, hit me up and I'd love to connect with you and your wife, bro. Y'all already seem pretty cool. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bud. Jen, what's up, girl?
Hey, so I hear about all the incredible options that are available. And I hear options. I'm just
I
like,
didn't
I
get
think
that. Could you try again?
I'm not talking to you, Siri. And I just think like that's another job, trying to sort it all out, figure out what's the best way to go. And I just get overwhelmed. I shut down and like, okay, I'm executing my business, like you said. So, but then the idea of having somebody to manage that, help you through all that sounds amazing. But then I go like, every time I want to swipe, do I have to call somebody and ask what's the best? So what does a day in the life of working with a points coach look like?
Do you want to answer that, Keston, or do you want me to answer that?
I mean, it's legit like a CPA. That's why I gave that analogy. So in the intake, they ask you about what are you spending your money on. They want to see what your traffic, basically. And then they give you advice. They break it down as to, okay, these are the cards I would recommend. This is what you should do. And they align you with how you should be spending your money. And so, no, you don't have to call. You do get a coach that's assigned to you. I don't get to call Eli. I do have a coach that's assigned, and they guide us as to what to do and any questions we have and all of that. But they tell you, I mean, how many things do you really spend money on, right? It's categorized. And so they fill us into categories as to, hey, groceries, blah, 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 use this card. This, use this card, travel, use this card. And so you got to upfront telling as to what you should be doing.
Okay, because right now I'm just like super lazy. I love my Chase Southwest card, and it's just pack the points on.
Yeah. So Jen, so basically when we're looking at stuff, there's different levels to this, right? When I first started out, every single dollar mattered. I had more time than I had money. So I wasn't thinking like this. I was like, I'll think about every single situation and possible card to use and which one's the best. And I was analyzing it all. The key is, as you're growing, you want to be able to leverage the system, but you don't want it to drain your energy and time. So that's why, again, the word system is so important, because you want to have a simple strategy where it's like, for these categories, this card, these categories, this card, this category, this card. Simple enough. You can follow that. You can reference it really quick. We'll give you some apps to recommend as well to keep things organized. But you know, even if you're going to miss $1 here or $1 there, the fact that you have the majority of this set up, you're going to be winning off the bat, right? I'm not perfect with it. And I don't think every single person should be out here scrutinizing over cards, because it's just, that's not the point of our life here, right? But you should play the game to maximize what you can and keep it as simple as possible with a good system. So as another example, I have personally, we don't do this for clients. It's just a personal choice because I like this stuff and I'm obsessed with it. I'm a nerd on it. But I have around 40 credit cards. I have like an 800 credit score. Things are solid, but I have such good systems in place. I'm spending less than an hour a month to manage all that. So it's not like just because I got a lot of credit cards, it turned into chaos. I was able to set up automations. I was able to, put tools in place. I was able to change the payment due dates to the same date. So it's one day a month. There's all sorts of things to simplify things. And once you have that down, it becomes much easier. So that's a little, just like, again, way of thinking about it, where you can do the things that are necessary to create your outcome without it being overly complicated.
Okay, so not a bunch of Post-it notes in my wallet.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. If you like it like that, some people like to print out a little sticker thing and stick it on their credit card. That's up to you. But Jen, one tip for you, I'll just give you: Southwest card. So unless you're going for what's called the companion pass, which I don't know if you know what that is, or if you are, then you want to get Chase points instead, because they convert to Southwest at a 1-to-1 ratio. So you can also convert your Chase points to a bunch of other airlines or hotels. So what that does is, if you don't fly Southwest, right, it gives you options to fly United, to fly Emirates, to fly even on like Delta, or even to stay at hotels. And if you only have a Southwest card, you're only flying Southwest. So that will give you a lot more options. And then if you do want to fly Southwest, you just convert those points over to 1-to-1 ratio. And it's just like you had Southwest points from the start. So that's a little tip just to get you set up with a card that will give you a little more options and give you more value off the bat.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the crazy thing. Thank you so much, Jen. The crazy thing is, I thought, like I told you guys, I had some level of knowledge of points. And so when I went in, I thought, like we're good. they had me stop use a few cards. They're like, yeah, you should stop using this, use this one more. And I was like, crap, right? Because you think you're doing something, and yes, it's a good start, it's a great foundation, but then this is where their elevation comes in to help and to get you to the next level. I see my wife unmuted. What's up, baby?
Oh yeah, I want to say something to the people.
Tell me.
So the young lady who just came up, you are me, okay? I was the resistant one, the hesitant one. It felt very overwhelming, like one more thing to learn on top of all the other things. So getting like the optimization strategy right now, I'm a very like structured person. I need to see it. So they give it to you like in steps, like in these 30 days, do this, 45 days. So what I did was I copied and pasted the first 30-day steps and I put it in my notes section in my phone, in my iPhone. So I labeled it for this business, I'm using this card and this card for this and this. So anytime I need to check when I'm at the store, I can just go to my notes and check which card I'm supposed to be using if I don't remember. So that's what helps me not feel overwhelmed. So if you are like me, that's what I did. Okay, goodbye.
See, I didn't even know she do that. That's cool. That's why you don't be calling me no more. That's awesome. Guys, I want to share something because I think now is like the perfect time, and then we'll go to Robin. And so part 2 of the conversation, when I was talking to Eli earlier today, I'm like, dude, I'm building this brand, I'm building this company, and I want to provide as much value as possible. What would it look like for us to partner and for you to give some of these tools to the clients coming into the Paradigm Bootcamp, the reboot, the program that I shared with you guys yesterday? And he's like, dude, totally. We could totally put a section of it for you guys at no additional cost if you're in the program, at no additional cost to you guys. Right. And so I'm adding on things for the same price that we talked about yesterday, for the same exact investment. And now you're going to learn how to level up your life even more. Like if that doesn't excite you even more about this program, I don't know what will. Like I don't know. And just the person that I am, I'm probably going to meet somebody else that does something really cool and be like, bro, you want to add this? Like, add it on, right? But super excited about that, guys. So now you guys are going to be able to get access to some recordings and some content to start at least knowing what to do. Again, I don't know if I don't know where you are in your personal businesses and your lives yet until we start on the 22nd. I don't know yet. But once we start evaluating where you are, this might be something that you desire to do in the next couple of months. You may not be here right now, which is okay, because I want you to set the right foundation first. But this is going to be available to you guys. You didn't stay for the after part. Here's what, guys. If you want to know more about the program, I'm just going to put the calendar in the chat, schedule a call. Let's talk about it. My team and myself will be taking these calls. So just schedule a call. I'd love to answer any questions or anything you guys have about the program. I don't want to make this a pitch fest or anything like that. That's why I did that yesterday, to share with you guys who did want to know more about it. But if you do want to know more about the program, schedule a call and we'll be happy to jump on the phone and explain everything to you. Robin, what you got, girl?
I'm not going to be hard on you like I was yesterday.
Thank you.
No, I think I have a pretty simple question. So I've got lots of personal credit cards. Well, for me, it's like, I don't know, it's a number of cards. But I'm now getting ready to start developing business credit cards. So I need to know the difference as far as what you're talking about is, and also how does that integrate with what we were talking about yesterday as far as well, now I've lost my train of thought, but basically it's, you know, keeping track of business cards versus personal cards, or should everything be put on business or everything on personal, or what?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in on that, Keston. I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so first off, congrats on that, because getting the business card game is amazing. And especially if you're doing the point stuff and you want to get sign up bonuses and get these points and stuff like that, when you get business cards, because the vast majority don't appear in your personal credit report other than the initial inquiry, you can get more points faster. You can utilize them in a great way. So I'm a big fan of keeping things simple and keep them separate. So business cards really just go for things that are going to go towards business expenses. Personal cards go towards personal expenses. And it's totally cool to have both. Again, all of the points from either of those are going to go to you individually. So if you have an Amex business card and an Amex personal card, they go into Robin Eschler's name. Okay. They don't go into like the company here, the company there, and the personal, they all are going to go to you. So that'll keep things organized there. When it comes to having a bunch of different cards and you're like, this maybe is too many, what should I do? There's definitely times where it makes sense to either cancel or downgrade cards. And one quick thing to know about that is that if you're going to cancel a personal card, it is going to impact your credit score, but not just like the idea of canceling something isn't what impacts it. It's the change on your credit report that changes the score. So if you have a really old card that's like 25 years old, right, and you cancel that because you're not using it, well, if that's your oldest card, now the average age of your credit score goes down, right? It becomes shorter, and to the bank, that's obviously less favorable. So what you want to think about is, how do I keep my oldest cards open? And if I have to cancel, I should cancel the newest ones. But maybe there's a card that you don't want to use anymore, but you don't want to cancel it because it's older. A lot of times there's a downgrade option. So there's maybe you're paying a fee for a card, and what you can do is you can downgrade it to the no fee version of the card. And that way you keep auto pay on, you keep building an automatic payment, and you're just building your credit score, you're building your credit score, and it's helping you, but you're no longer paying the fee. And you can kind of just put it in the sock drawer and never think about it again. But that way you still build your credit. On the business side, if you get cards and need to cancel them, it doesn't hurt you as much because it doesn't impact your personal credit score. So it's a lot of information, but I want to give you some ideas and ways to think about business versus personal and how to manage your cards.
No, that all makes a lot of sense. So what's the difference? What about Venmo and this system that you have to pay? Like I recently paid an Airbnb through my bank account over, I can't even remember the name of it, but a system like Venmo. And then there's Venmo, and some people insist on using that rather than credit cards because they don't pay as high a fee, or any fee for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it depends on who you're dealing with, like, and how they're going to receive money, and if they're willing to negotiate with that, or if it's like, you know, an Airbnb platform, there's not really anyone to talk with per se. So sometimes you got to deal with the platform, but even with Venmo, you can attach a credit card to your Venmo. You are going to pay the fee to do that, but there's even times where you can pay Venmo, for example, or PayPal, and put that, like, attach a card to it. So there's always options for that too. Certain things, you know, it would take a little more effort than necessary to put onto a card. Like if someone's saying, hey, you know, we have to go through this platform, it's, you know, and it's a couple $100, it's probably not worth trying to renegotiate with them to go give yourself access to paying on a credit card. So that's kind of just, you want to keep things simple, right? And like, your time is valuable too. So the idea is maximize what you can. And if it's going to take a lot of effort to get a little return, I just wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. Well, Keston, for what it's worth, I think this alone makes it worthwhile. And I don't mean that to sound like it did. Of course it, of course
100%.
you're giving a lot of value. But I mean, for me, my whole goal in life has been to travel more. So, so this is great. Thank you.
Amazing.
Robin. Would love to see you out there living your dream. That's the point here. So I'm excited for you.
Amazing. And guys, this is why it's levels. You know, like you again, be, do, have. And so I gotta start with the being, which is what I primarily focus on. That's me all day. That's when we're talking about mindset and personal development and growth and growing in all these areas. And wealth and money is an area of mindset that is keeping people back. which is why I am addressing it so head on, because I'm noticing in most of the communities that I'm in, not just one, all around, I'm in a lot of communities. Y'all see how many mentors I got. I'm in a lot of communities. The mindset when it comes to money just isn't solid. There's a lot of beliefs about money that I'll like, at least from where I'm coming from, it's skewed. It's so skewed that I feel like it's part of my job to share. And, you know, I have an audience of people that will listen to me, and you have an audience of people that will listen to you. And I think it's your responsibility as well to take what you're learning and to share it with others. And so that's the responsibility that I feel every time I bring people and I do these challenges. And I want to help, because I really do want to see you guys change, not only for freedom, but generations to come. That's the intention. That's the impact. That's why we're doing this. And I need y'all help. I need y'all to level up and start applying these things that I'm bringing for you guys, right? Like at any level, I need you to start applying. What you got again, Robin?
So what credit card should I use to sign up for Keston's program?
Hey, there we go. I love it. Awesome. Well, the honest answer is you want to use a card that's going to earn 2 points per dollar on what we call non-category bonuses, because a program like this, it's not dining, it's not groceries, it's not one of these other things. So ideally, if you can, you get one of those 1.5 points or 2 points per dollar. If you can't do it, not the end of the world. Don't let that hold you back, but that's going to give you a little extra elevated bonus on that. Or maybe you're getting a card that's going to help you hit a sign up bonus. So that's how I would think about it. But at the end of the day, what's more important is getting in and getting started rather than like making sure you got the perfect card for it.
So what cards give 1.5 to 2 points?
There's one called the Chase Freedom, which will do that. And the Capital One Venture X is probably my personal favorite for 2 points per dollar. Yeah, you'd have to get those new and get them, and then obviously get the number to sign up. But Venture X is a really good one for travel too.
She's writing. She's Googling it right now.
There you go.
She's like,
let me know, Robin, if you're going to apply. I'll send you a special link for it. There you go.
Man, so guys, Keston, Jen, do you want to ask your question? Like, reading it is so boring versus, and I'm looking at you like right here. Talk to me.
So let me see. Let me get this little box out of the way here. I am unmuted. Okay. Where do you recommend? I know outside of even this financial paradigm program here, you have other coaching programs. What tools would you recommend for people who know that they have some money paradigm issues to work out, and they really want to focus on unraveling that before they enroll in a program like this? What direction would you point them in?
Ask the question again. I want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly.
So I came on earlier in the week, and I talked about how I know that I have some kind of old crap deep down that keeps me breaking even.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been really trying to get at what that is. And I want to change that so that I can put myself in a position to really take the most advantage of the programs that you're presenting now.
So what, I probably shouldn't say this, but what comes natural to me is if we're in a program and we're going over stuff and I start seeing things, anyone who's ever been in a program with me would tell you that, like, we're digging deep, regardless of what it is. We're going to find out what's going on and dig into it. So especially if it's surrounding money, I think this program will definitely be a good fit, because we're always going to start with that. I always evaluate where people are and kind of try to identify at least the paradigms that's holding people back so that we can move forward. So identifying is the first step, right? So that's definitely the first phase of this financial paradigm reboot.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. My man, Nevin, what's up, bro?
Hey, how are you guys? Really appreciate you
Bro, we're
teaching all
not
this
gonna
stuff.
get to see a handsome face.
Sorry, I'm at work. So I just I work at nights. I just came out quickly. So I actually had asked it in the chat. I've racked up a lot of chase points, and so but my personal card, I just have the chase preferred. But all the other chase cards, I've got business, and I've racked up points. What other, like, I think you recommended the Freedom Flex. Is there any other personal chase credit cards that you recommend so that I can get to the 524?
Yeah.
So that's my question.
Yeah. So Nevin's asking a very advanced question per se. So let me zoom out, Evan, and answer this for others so they can kind of catch up to speed here, and then I'll answer your question. So he's asking about 524, which sounds like, what the heck is that? So there's these different rules with different banks when you're applying, and this is part of the game that you need to know. For example, Chase has a rule called the 524 rule. And this rule says, if you've gotten 5 or more personal credit cards in the last 24 months, that's why it's 5 and 24, then they will deny you for any credit card, regardless of how good your credit is, what kind of relationship you have with them, or any of that. So what do you want to do? Well, you want to know how many cards have you gotten in the last 24 months that are personal. Again, business cards, if they don't show up in your credit report, they don't count towards that number. So that's the strategy, is you want to stay below that so that you can continue to get approved for Chase cards if and when you want to, because they've got a lot of good points cards, and they've also got some really good 0% interest business cards, like the Chase Ink card, some of those. So Nevin, in terms of personal, it really just depends, because you've got the Chase Freedom, and then you've got the Sapphire. You can have one of each of those. And then from there, I would just look at what kind of travel you want to do. The World of Hyatt card there is good if you like Hyatt properties. The United cards can be decent. If you do fly Southwest, that can be okay too. So I would just look at what type of travel you're going to do first, but I would really focus more on maybe there's a path to get into business cards, and then you can maximize some of those before you have to come back to the 524 and worry about like which Chase cards to get. Right. So that's how I would be thinking about it, because it is 5 personal cards in the last 24 months with any bank. It's not just Chase. Okay. So that's
correct.
An overview for everybody else as well.
Yes, that is correct. So that because I see, like, in terms of personal credit cards, Chase, doesn't have a lot. It has the reserve, the preferred, and I think the flex types. The remaining stuff is all affiliated to the hotel, right? If you're flying hotel or airline, so they're kind of affiliated only to that. So if you're a frequent, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they have one for American Airlines, because that's what I usually prefer. Right. The reason is I travel internationally to India, and One World kind of has more options to get to India.
Yeah, they do have a British Airways card that you could use for One World as well, so that would be an option there. But yeah, you're right about that. They have the Sapphire cards, then they have the Freedom card, and then basically beyond that, you're looking at a specific, what we call like a co-branded card. And so for those that don't know what I'm talking about, that means like Chase is the bank, but you're going to earn United Airline miles or British Airways points or World of Hyatt points or something like that. So you're not earning Chase points themselves, you're earning points of that specific program. So you're correct in that, but there's a lot of really good other co-branded cards that you should definitely consider, because maybe, I don't know where you live, but maybe you're going to fly, you're going to India, I think you said.
Yes.
Maybe you're going to fly, I don't know, maybe you live in Chicago. Maybe you fly from Chicago. Yeah, to fly out. And so
Chicago.
You are in Chicago?
Yeah, usually I fly out of Chicago.
Wow, it was crazy that I just guessed that. So you might fly to New York to fly out. And so that short flight from Chicago to New York to then maybe take a longer flight, you could use United or Southwest or whatever. So there are ways to use those other points too. But yeah, the only American cards are going to be issued by Citi or Barclays.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep, no problem, man.
Thanks, bro. We'll take these last 2 and then wrap it up. Call it a night or boot camp. Dalen.
Hi.
What's up?
Hello. Let me do my camera. I'm in the car.
Hey.
We just start for this. Thank you so much. This is mind blowing. Like everybody's saying. I have a question about the credit cards. I'm trying to get to the 800 point. I always was in the 750. It was really hard to get there, even though all my cards are paid for and everything. So I'm with a credit repair company just to teach me some hacks to get to the 800. And we're in the process to buying a house. So how apply for more credit? Because they say, no, don't do that. Applying for more credit or business credit could affect that process to get a house. So I'm like, okay, did I go and get credit? No, I don't go to get credit. Like, it's so confusing for me.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple different perspectives and keep in mind, you know, I'll give you kind of how it works, but also give you my personal opinion, and that's my opinion. So you get to decide what you want to do. When it comes to applying for a mortgage, having less inquiries before you go to do that, that's going to help, right? Because the lenders want to see that you haven't applied for a lot of credit recently. Now, that being said, the difference between the mortgage that you'll get approved for when you have a 760, a 770, or an 800 credit score, not that big of a difference in most cases from the data that I've seen. So what that means is, like, if you're concerned with getting into 800, it's kind of like almost more of a status thing that you can say, I'm in the 800 score range, rather than that you're going to see a lot of major benefits. Whereas if your score's at like 760, 770, 780, right? So if you're already in that range, I wouldn't worry a ton about it. There are some ways to boost your score with things called authorized users as well. Now, when it comes to getting business cards, they will pull your credit and you'll get an inquiry in most cases. Depending on the banks that you have and the relationships you have there, you may actually be able to get approved for what we call no inquiry, like a soft pull, you know, no hard credit pull approval. Just depends on the bank, the relationships, how recently you got cards there and all this stuff. So that's kind of specific to the situation. So in some cases it can happen, but if you are house shopping and you guys are figuring that out, then typically most of the time you want to wait until after you get that done to then do some more applications for your credit cards. So I would prioritize, that's a bigger life purchase. So I'd prioritize that over getting points, unless that's like further out, like, you know, 6 months, 12 months, that kind of thing, then getting a couple cards now wouldn't be a big problem.
Okay, awesome. And would you recommend getting personal versus business or what is it?
So when it comes to getting business cards, guys, something that's important to know is it's a different application and they're looking at different information. There's different requirements as well. So like for a business card, you want to have ideally at least 2 to 3 minimum personal credit cards, and you want to have your score generally around 700. There's a couple different factors that go into it. So assuming that you have all of that stuff down, then I would probably go for a business card first, because it won't impact your personal credit score at all, which is going to be helpful for the process of getting the mortgage and everything like that. So that's how I would think about it. But if you have one personal credit card, or your utilization is really high, or your credit score is not great, then you probably need to fix those things on your credit report first before going to apply for a business card. So that will save all of you guys the risk of applying for a business card and getting denied, which at the end of the day isn't that big of a deal, because the only downside is an inquiry. But ideally, you go in with confidence knowing, okay, I've done my due diligence. I know how this works, and I'm very likely to get approved. So that's how I would think about it from the personal versus business side.
Dylan, were you here yesterday?
Yes, all of 3 days.
All 3 days. Let's go. So again,
I'm here.
this is something that the AI would definitely be able to help you with, like that,
Okay.
and let you kind of know what you should do and could do and what's available to you based on the information with no pulls. So it's gonna do soft pulls, no hit to your credit. So keep that in mind as well.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Love it.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Thank
being here.
you.
All right, Donnie Dawn. What you got, girl?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
So got a question. So most of the credit cards that I typically use, I mean, some of them I get points, but I'm not really that savvy on which ones. But I use one like American Express a lot outside of my corporate card. And that American Express is like an everyday card, which I've had that account for probably like 30 years and stuff like that. So, but I also have a MasterCard. I don't remember which bank it was through. I've had that one for probably about 25 years as well. And a couple of other cards that I don't really use too often. I just actually had a Discover card that they closed on me because I don't really use it. I use one credit card through my bank that I do my checking with, and I pretty much pay almost exclusively all my bills on that one, and I do get some points, but I don't think it's near the number of points that I might be getting if I was doing something else. Here's the thing is, I know you had a system to kind of stay on top of that. And I, for the most part, do. I keep notes on like which card is due which day and make sure that I regularly check them. But as for amassing points, I honestly don't even know what credit card is probably the better one to do. I just know when I start having too many balances on too many credit cards, it gets a little bit more difficult to kind of keep track on due dates and stuff like that. And
Yeah. So I can give you a couple tips. I think I'm getting a little feedback. Is that just on my end? Okay, cool. Yeah, if you mute, it's probably better for now. Cool. So Don, so a couple things. So number one tip for everybody. I'm gonna give you some hacks. Okay, and Lloyd, I see you asking about business credit limits. I'm happy to talk on that after. That's in the chat. So some hacks here. So number one, most banks will allow you to change your payment due date. You can just chat them, message them, or call them. And what you can do is when you have cards at different banks, like I have a lot of different cards, I have like 9 different bank accounts that I'm working with and logins. You can change the payment due dates to be ideally the same day or within the same couple of days. So what I'll do is instead of logging into one, oh, this is the 12th, the 14th, the 15th, when is it? I've set up auto pay for the minimum payment. And then I change all my payments to like the 28th. So then I know, and some of them are like 26th, 27th. So I know if I log in on the 25th and I review everything before anything is due, and I'm good to go. I'll set up the minimum payment so I don't have any late payments. And then what I'll do is I'll pay the balance, the statement balance manually. So I can just see like, okay, what am I actually spending? Right. Because if it's on auto pay and I don't actually look, then I'm not really being as like not paying as much attention to it as I could. And so that's my process for managing that. The other part is on the finances side. If you want to look at balances, I mean, there's different apps that you can use. People have different preferences with that. I like mint.com for that, for aggregating all your financial stuff into one place. Keston maybe has other recommendations, but that can pull all your cards into one spot. You can set budgets if you want. And then you can see your total credit card balances from all the different banks and everything. Depending if you're running a business or not, you may use QuickBooks. It just depends on how you want to set it up. But there are tools out there that will simplify it and bring everything into one spot, which is great. Because yeah, logging into 9 different places and like, what's this due date? What's that balance? When's this one due? It is a lot if you don't have a system, but that's why those tools can help bring it into one spot. So that's what I would suggest to keep things simple. And then when it comes to selecting the card, there's the general strategy is first step is to earn the right points. And these are going to be those bank points I can transfer. Chase, Citi, Amex, and Capital One are the 4 banks that will do that. And I always like recommending Chase and Amex first. So what you would do is you would look at, okay, what points cards earn the most points on my type of purchases from those 2 or maybe the 4, but really the 2 banks. And that will help you pick the best card. And then what you'll want to do is definitely keep those other cards open. Like you said, they just close your Discover card. That stinks, right? And especially if you have like a 30-year-old card and a 20-year-old card, set up some sort of subscription, Netflix, Hulu, whatever it is, something on there, and set up auto pay so that it's always still building an on-time payment. Because each month that you have an on-time payment, that helps your credit. If you keep the card open and you don't have an on-time payment, it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't help it as much as it would as if you do report an on-time payment. It doesn't matter if it's $3 or $300. So just put something on there, and that will help you out too.
so fortunately, my credit score is like 800 right now, but so because I do try to keep some balance on a lot of them, but just not terribly often. The Amex, does it matter which Amex card you have? Because I think I have the everyday card, it's clear card or something like that. Does it matter?
Yeah. So it does matter because depending on what you're spending on, certain cards are going to earn 1 point for every dollar. On certain things, some are going to earn 2, some are going to earn 4, and some are going to earn 5. So let's say certain cards are going to earn 4 points per dollar on different purchases. You spend $1,000 there, and your alternative is that you're earning 1 point per dollar. You just missed on like 36,000 points a year that you could have gotten just from having the right card in your hand, which could be worth like $1,000.
Right.
So that's why you want to look at which cards match to what you spend on. And that's how you kind of create the strategy around like which cards to get.
Don, I think the real question is, are you ready to start playing the game?
I just set up a meeting to talk to you about that because I won't lie, there is a little bit of fear, but it's not like I haven't played the credit card game to my advantage before. You know, it was those 0 APR cards for like 18, 24 months. I've used those on a number of occasions to transfer money and things to my, so. But
So
it's a bigger step.
And it seems like a bigger step because we've jumped over the foundation.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it seems like a bigger step, because we've gone from kind of, let's say, couch to 5K in this conversation right now, versus like if we were to track through all the days and kind of we set up those things in place, then doing this would come natural. It would be like, oh, okay, this is the natural next step, right?
Yeah.
And so think about it like that. Think about it as a process, as to going through the process, getting things set up. This will be a lot less overwhelming that way, because now it's going to be like he's talking about a lot of the same things that we've mentioned before in terms of tracking and all of that. Once you're tracking and you know your income, expenses, and you can see it and all that type of stuff, this comes like, oh, okay, now I'm ready for the next step. And again, this is the shiny object at the end so that you can make more money, live a better lifestyle, that type of thing, right? So just want to kind of remind you guys to kind of take it in context. If you're going from no financial discipline, not doing anything, and you're going straight to this is going to be overwhelming. It's going to like fry your brains, because now you got to understand languages for things that you jumped over, right? So I think you'd be fine. I can't wait to talk to you about kind of what next steps and stuff will look like. So
I'm looking forward to it, but the conversation is not till next Monday.
It
You're
feels like
booked up
that
all the weekend, man.
But and guys, there's not a whole lot of spots left. Just, you know, so if this is something that you guys are absolutely interested in or have more questions on, let us jump on that call, schedule a call, and we'll love to fit you guys in. Thank you, Don.
Welcome.
Yes, I got one thing on that as well, just to share in terms of like feeling like, oh, this is a lot, like anything, you know, we're on here and there's a lot of different specific questions to different people's situations. Yeah. And so you're hearing a lot more information than you probably need for yourself to get to where you want to go. So there's a lot of stuff that, you know, some of these questions for many of you don't apply at all. So you really want to think about it when you have mentorship, when you have support, you're getting the help that you need. You're not hearing all the extra stuff that's applicable, not to you, but to someone else. So, you know, if you're going to start Airbnb investing and like someone's asking questions about furnishing the doorknobs and you're just trying to find the property, like you don't need to worry about that stuff because it's too downstream from where you are. So you just focus on your next step. And that's kind of the beauty of having support and guidance and access and all that stuff too. So I just wanted to throw that in there. If you're feeling overwhelmed, like, you know, don't worry about the stuff that other people are asking, worry about your best next step.
Right. No, that's awesome. And I just got a few texts about this, the same question that Robin is asking, because the spots will fill up. So I want my team to just put the link where somebody could buy now and purchase now. And the people who does have questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. So the team would put hey, I'm ready to I know what I want. I know this is the right solution for me. Let's drop that link in the chat. And to the people who absolutely do want to kind of talk things through to make sure it's the right fit, hopefully by the time we get to your appointment that there's still space, but look forward to talking to you guys then. My man Eli, bro, thank you and this was supposed to be 15 minutes. This was supposed to be 15 minutes. And
I knew with us two that wasn't going to happen.
You came all the way to the end with me, bro. And I just absolutely want to thank you for being here and pouring value. And I look forward to our new partnership and what that looks like, and doing a lot more travels and stuff together. Because your girl is dope too. So that's also awesome.
Nice.
So thanks. Yo, guys, put some fires in the chat for Eli real quick, y'all. Drop some fires in the chat. I feel like should we give him a beat or not? Should we? What y'all think? Should we give him a beat? Say drop the beat, Cash. Drop the damn beat. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Fires in the chat, y'all. Let's do it.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot.
Come on, y'all.
I'ma make a toast
It's
cause we still
9:15
alive.
and we still going. We
No
still got
big,
the energy, y'all.
feel
Let's
like
go, let's
Pac.
go, let's go, let's go.
Shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot.
My man Eli, bro. Thank you so much for everything, brother. Appreciate you. This was a lot of fun. Let's do it again, man. Let's go, y'all. Hey.
Yeah. Coming in hot. Coming in hot.
There we go, man. So
Love
Eli, guys, what do you guys think about what Eli just shared? Like what's some big takeaways? Who wants to start traveling more? Who wants to start doing things a little bit different in your life right now? Right? Like, and I got a question for you guys, and I want somebody to unmute and tell me, what is your biggest expense? Tell me, what's your biggest expense that you guys have right now? Just unmute and tell me. Somebody tell me. Rent. What else? What's your biggest expense? I see kids.
Marketing. Cheer.
Marketing. What was that? Food,
Cheer.
groceries. What's your biggest expense? Housing. Talk to me. So medical, that is big. Labor, marketing, tuition. Guys, none of that is your biggest expense. None. Your two top biggest expense in life. The second one. Who knows what the second biggest, largest, stupid expense is in everyone's life? Who knows? The second one. The second one is taxes. Taxes is your second biggest expense that everyone has. Why is that? You got income tax, right? That's when you earn money. You pay income tax. When you spend money, that's what? Sales tax. People talking about they want to buy a home. Then they tax you property tax. And then we're investors. So if we buy a home and sell it for more money, what's that? That's capital gains tax. And even when you die, you get taxed, right? Cassandra said it. And there's that tax. And with all those taxes, and you know why we're not super educated on taxes and saving on taxes, even as business owners? See, some of y'all think y'all just buying property or like we're all business owners, and it's a different mindset. This is the reason why we're trying to elevate, because it's a different mindset. We were never taught these things. And you know why it doesn't seem like your biggest tax and all the marketing and food and medical and all these things? You know why those seems like bigger taxes, like bigger expenses? The reason why is because those expenses, taxes, they're like mosquito bites, right? They're like, they take one here, they take some here, they take some there. And so it's not one big tax bill unless you start making a lot more money. They spread it out all over the place. And so they get you in different places. And that's not even your biggest expense. You want to know what your biggest expense is? Who wants to know what your biggest expense is? Put a yes in the chat. You want to know what your biggest expense is? The biggest expense is not knowing how to do the thing that you actually want to do. Ignorance. That is your biggest expense. Why? Why is that your biggest expense? Let's say, get your calculators out. Let's say you want to make $1 million. Say you want to make $1 million, right? So $1 million. Now, how much money did you make this year or last year? How much money did you make last year? You could write that down. You don't have to put it in the chat. Don't put that in the chat, right? But how much money did you make last year? So let's say out of goodwill, we made 200,000, right? Let's say we made $200,000. So 1 million minus 200,000. What's the math on that? What's the number on that? It's pretty simple. What's the math on that, guys? That's 800,000. 800,000. That is your biggest expense. It costs you to not know and implement the things that we talked about in the last 3 days. In the last 3 days, all of the tools, and it's only the tip of the surface, are habits and tools that could get you to your first $1 million. And because we're not being, doing, and having, we don't have that $1 million in our hands. And so you can pay taxes, but forget taxes. You've all paid over $800,000 this last year because you don't know and don't have the tools to get to where you want to get to. Now you could continue living like that, and that's perfectly fine. Or you could elevate. You could start implementing the things that you've learned over the past couple of days. And if you wanted to go further and be around David, Brandon, Eli, and myself, and all the other people that already signed up into this program, here's your opportunity. If you want to be around the people that has the habits that you need, this is the time to make it happen. Don't let life be expensive for you. It doesn't have to be like that. A lot of you guys got a lot of gems, a lot of knowledge, things that you could implement right now and make an extra $50,000, an extra $60,000, an extra $100,000 that you could go out and do right now. But it really depends on what you want to do and how fast you want to get there. We could help you get there. We could help you get there. So I'm going to ask the team to drop the link in the chat one more time. Drop both links. If you know you want to purchase right now, amazing. If you think you like, hey man, I got questions, I'm on the fence, schedule a call. I'd love to talk to you and kind of hear some of the concerns and things and answer your questions. But we absolutely do not have 60 spots. Like I'll just tell you right now, there's spots that's already filled. We do not have 60 spots. So this is not going to last very long. If you're at that place where you want to make a change to start living the life that you want, to start traveling the way that you want, to start having the freedom that you say you want, this is your opportunity to get there. It starts with the financial mindset and understanding, undoing, crushing those paradigms that's currently there. And we're going to help you do that. Well, guys, this has been absolutely phenomenal. 3 days, guys, 3 days of financial literacy, financial education, bringing my partners in to share with you guys. And I can't wait to start on the 22nd. We start on the 22nd, and it's just going to be amazing. Drop some fires in the chat if you guys got some true value out of the last few days. Drop some fires in the chat, y'all. This has been so amazing. Thank you all so much for being here, for caring about yourself enough to being here and learning. Make sure you join the free Facebook group. You want to be a part of that group. Congrats to all of you guys who did move forward. I can't wait to start working with you. Peace and love. I enjoyed every single minute of my time here providing value. This is my purpose. This is what makes me feel alive. This isn't work to me. This is just pure having fun, changing lives, and living my purpose. So on that note, guys, peace and love. God bless. Hope you all gathered a lot of fun and have an amazing rest of your weekend. Peace, y'all.